virtually all the capital projects that you have in front of you are projects that are needed in order to operate the system in the mandated ways.
Right. It's my understanding, though, that the 5-year plan we have is in place so we can make a commitment to go out and search for other funding, whether it's, you know, a grant or a bond or whatever it is, so we show our commitment to these projects before we go and seek funding. Is that correct? No?
No, Trevor, correct me if I'm wrong.
So a 28% increase in our sewer rates is going to cover a $17.5 million project?
If you reach back to the FCS group presentation, they are proposing system reinvestment, which is having X amount of reserves on hand to be able to get a better rating if you do go to the market for a revenue bond or another type of bond to be able to construct the capital project. So the sanitary or the sewer utility is a 10-year system reinvestment phase in,
Right.
and the water is a 5-year. With the sewer being larger at 28.5%, there's already existing debt service within that utility. Within the
Right.
last 2 to 3 years, we've built a headworks at the wastewater treatment plant, and we've also built a force main across the Washougal River. So
But
the sewer utility has
does
more.
not, the 20, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the 28% includes future projects, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. I just want to see a baseline. I want to see it pay for our existing debt currently. I just want the figures, please, if I can get those. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have one more thing. The 5th grade band at Gauze Elementary is having a Veterans Day program on November 10th at 9:30 a.m. And Dr. Frank Zahn, the school's music instructor is actually asking if veterans would attend. They are welcoming all veterans, and they're hoping to honor them with their program, and allowing all of the 5th grade students and undergraduate students as well an opportunity to personally thank each and every veteran who attends. Thank you, veterans. We salute you. That's from the school newsletter, Mustang News. That's all I have.
Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In adding to my colleagues' questions, concerning the water and sewer rate increases, if the capital funds that we are being asked to increase the rates for are finite expenditures, is it possible for us to have a sunset clause on that portion of the rate? And that would tie into what Councilmember Jennifer was saying. In essence, if we identify what the ongoing cost for the maintenance of that fund is going to be, the ongoing cost of the current utilities, and then we separate out the capital improvements which we haven't yet funded, and then include a sunset clause on that increase. Is that possible?
Technically, it's probably possible. I think, is that not the purpose of the updated rate studies and rate reviews to look through on a timely basis?
We'd have to stretch out the curve in terms of how long we're looking at the model. Right now, it's a 5-year look, I believe. It's a 5-year look, and the debt service for those projects would be still pretty young. So to sunset during the 5-year horizon wouldn't be viable. We'd have to take a longer look, and then we could see. So typically the way that would be looked at would be at the next update. You would look at where that debt service is at, what's remaining on it, what the O&M is, where we're at on the system reinvestment, and then look at the rates and decide whether or not they can go up or down.
Right. I understand that a lot of these projects are going to be serviced with debt instruments that go into the decades. And so I do understand that, but still, it would make sense, if that really is the purpose of the increase of the rates, for us to sunset it 20 years from now, or 30 years, or whatever that debt service instrument is going to be using for its term of its loan. Anyway, it's something that I think we should look at, that would be, rather than just a permanent increase forever, just recognize that this is what this is paying for, and this is how long it's going to be paying for it.
Molly?
Yeah, actually, my comment is something quite different, and I just want to remind everybody at this table and in the audience to be sure to vote if you haven't already. Tomorrow is Election Day, and as I'm sure we are all aware, that informed voting is the cornerstone and basis of good democracy. So if you have not already voted, make sure that you, at this point, you would probably want to drop your ballot off at the Washougal Community Center or at any of the other ballot box locations around the county.
Bud?
Two things. For all in the room tonight, the volunteer fire department is having their annual turkey carnival. It's 75 years, or actually about 77 or 78 years old now this year. And it's November 19th and 20th, 7 p.m. to midnight. And anybody that comes out, we sure would appreciate your support of our volunteer firefighters. As everybody, I'm sure, in this room has seen, East Street's starting to get more construction each and every day. And it's here, and we just need to have as much patience as possible with it. They're trying to do everything they can to work around all the public safety, and I see new notices on the board at the fire station to let us know what segment of the street is tore up or where we're going to be looking at any kind of restrictions. So everybody have some patience. It's just one of those things we're going to have to live through to get this thing done. So thanks.
Thank you. John?
Okay, a couple things. One, in regards to what Councilwoman McDaniel was talking about, I think what she was requesting, and I just want to make sure that I understand, you were requesting if we lived in a perfect world and we didn't have these mandates coming down on us from the state to be able to comply with, and we were just going to cover the cost of our system, what would that cost be? Is that what you're wanting to know?
Right. I just want kind of a baseline without our very expensive capital projects that we're looking at financing for the future. I realize that we're really just factoring in the debt repayment of, the future bonds that we're going to get or whatever it is to pay for all of these projects. But we were given a long list of projects and their corresponding cost. Some of them in the millions, some of them not so expensive. The W Street things, there were some things that were not as expensive. And I just kind of wanted a baseline so we can get the utilities paying for themselves and then take a look at these projects as they come along. It's just a different way of looking at it. I realize we spend a lot of money on all of these studies, and it's great, to have this information and brought to us in a nice, neat little package. But I just want to see, I guess, more of a breakdown. I've not seen just the baseline figures.
The other aspect of that, too, and I apologize for not being at the meeting that we had on this issue, but it is my understanding that one of the things that I've been asking for in this whole water discussion is a way that we can reward people for conserving water. And I don't believe that that was taken into account in this thing that we were given. So basically, again, what we've got in Washougal is we've got somebody who's on a fixed income paying the exact same rate for their water as a major industry in our city. So that's the inequity that I see, the disparity there. The other thing I wanted to just touch on real quick is, as Rod mentioned about East Street really taking off the ground, we are going to be hearing